Good day everyone, my name is Ken Marty Caderniga and presenting the chapter 4, group 2 with the members of myself, Ken Marty Caderniga, Canyaon, Carriedo, Katulong, Condor, Coronel, and Dacalos. And the topic for we discuss today is Crisis Management Organization in the Philippines for Natural Disaster. For our learning objectives, at the end of this chapter, the students will be able to explain crisis management organization, identify the functions of crisis management committee, describe the incident command system organization, explain the role of public information officers in crisis management, identify and appreciate the role of National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or the NDRRMC, and describe and explain the hierarchy and coordination of crisis management organization in the Philippines in responding to the natural crisis. For the first topic to discuss is crisis management organization. Crisis management organizations determine the levels of authority, responsibility, accountability, and there are three significant characteristics in establishing crisis management organization. And the first is the short deliberated time. The short deliberated time is a short deliberate time. Crisis management organizations refer to a system or team designed to respond quickly and effectively to unexpected crises such as natural disaster or sudden emergencies by making rapid decisions to make damage to make minima, to minimize the damage and restore stability. So as you can saw in the picture, they faced an earthquake that have been barred down the several buildings, and this is called a sudden emergency. Um, it is part of the short deliberated time is to make rapid decisions, especially rescuing people that have been stuck in a building and to minimize the damage and restore the stability. Next is the national and local level cooperation, which means that national and local level coordination in crisis management involves structured collaboration between central and regional authorities to ensure effective response to emergencies, with national agencies providing strategic oversight, resources, and technical support, while local government handles on the ground operation tailored to the community's specific needs. So, as what I said, that the local government is the one who tailored to the community specific needs. As you can see in the picture, it is a forest fire, which is can be part of the national and local level coordination to make the wildfire spread not so much and to prevent many casualties, and giving support by the national authorities. And third is the international of government agencies and other stakeholders. It means that crisis management organization integrates government agencies and other stakeholders by fostering global cooperation, pooling resources, and coordinating response to transnational emergencies such as pandemic, national disaster, or conflicts, ensuring effective and unfulfilled actions across borders. So as you can see here in the picture, it is a mining which can make a collaboration with stakeholders because there are pooling resources that may need to our nation. The next topic is about the Crisis Management Committee. Crisis Management Committee, a governing body that takes decisive actions to resolve crises or emergencies. Its goals is the formulation of crisis management policies, integration and orchestration of government and public efforts toward the control of crisis or incident. And this is the 5 critical tasks of CMC. First is sense making, considered as the classical assessment step in decision making because, of course, before you making a decision, it always have a sense to make inaccurate actions and a correct actions. Second is a decision making. It's both the acts of coming to a decision as the implementation of the decision. Third is meaning making is both the act of coming to a decision as the implementation of decision. Fourth is terminating of crisis is only possible if the community through its chairperson correctly handles the accountability question. And last is the learning, refers to the actual learning from crisis. Of course, in after the crisis, it should be have a called an assessment to be written what they learned so that they will know what they do if this kind of crisis will be occur again. So that's the 5 critical tasks of CMC.
So, good evening. My name is Curdy Canyon and I will report the Incident Command System. So, what is the Incident Command System? So, the Incident Command System, or ICS, is a set of personnel, policies, procedures, facilities, and equipment integrated into a common organizational structure designed to improve emergency response operations of all types and complexities. So, ang Incident Command System or ICS, so muna siya emergencies and incidents. So, ang ICS pod is nag-provide og clear structure, roles, and responsibility para ma-ensure ang efficient coordination among sa mga responding agencies. So, next is naay kuan. Ang ICS is designed to meet the following management challenge. So, first, meet the needs of a jurisdiction to cope with incidents of any kind of complexity. So, mao na siya ang system that should be flexible enough to handle any type of emergency, from simple to complex. Also, nag-ensure that all the needs are na-address. Next is allows personnel from a wide variety of agencies to meld rapidly into common management structure with common terminology. So, different agencies daw can quickly work together using the same structure and language to coordinate effectively. Next, provide logistic and administrative support to operational staff. So, the system ensures that the necessary resources and administrative tasks are handled. So, operational teams can focus on the emergency response. Next is be cost effective by avoiding duplication of efforts and continuing overhead. So, it minimizes wasted resources and unnecessary costs by streamlining efforts and avoiding redundant operation. And lastly, provide a unified, centrally authorized, legitimate emergency organization. So, ang system now dre is nag-establish a central authority that ensures coordination, legitimacy, and unified approach to handling emergency. So, next is the ICS organizational structure. So, it's based on the size and complexity of the crisis as well as the specific of the hazard environment created by the incident. When needed, separate functional elements can be established, each of which may be further subdivided to enhance internal organizational management and external coordination. So, sa ICS organizational structure, so this adapt to the size and complexity of the incident with flexible functional units created as needed. So, kanina unit can be further na ma-divide for better internal management and coordination with external agencies. So, next is the 3 modules in the ICS structural. Then, there is not a incident commander or IC. Mo na siya ang primary decision maker during sa incident. Then responsible po na sila sa managing the response and integrating resources. For example, during wildfire, so ang IC dira naga-make og key decision on evacuation, resource allocation, and also the containment strategies. So sa incident commander, compose siya og tulo, which is na ang single incident commander, unified commander, o area commander. So ang single incident commander, so from the word single, one person in charge of managing the entire incident response. For example, if ngayon nabalay sunog, so where a single firefighter is in charge of coordinating the response. While sa unified commander is multiple agencies involved. Now, multiple agencies or organization share command often during large or multi-jurisdictional incident. Example ay major flood response involving local, state, or federal agencies each contributing to sa decision making. And last is the area commander. So oversees multiple incident in a larger geographical area. So nag-ensure sila to coordinate among different teams. For example, in a large wildfire season, so ang area commander supervises mga several fire response teams across sa region. Next is the general staff. So ang general staff they provide planning and operation direction and supervision, resources, procurement and allocation, and support services. So ang general staff in ICS consists of personnel who oversee specific areas, which is planning. So ang planning develops strategies and prepares for future needs. Next, operation. So mo ni naga-manage on ongoing response action. Next, logistic. So mo ni siyang procures and allocate resources. And lastly, finance or administration. Nag-handle sa financial and administrative tasks. So ang general staff is primarily composed of the first, the operational chief. So ang operational chief mo na siya nag-oversees the execution of the incident response or directing tactical operation. Example, in a fire, so sila nag-direct firefighting teams and coordinate effort on the grounds. Next is the planning section chief. So develop strategies, gather information and plans for future needs. So example in flood, they create flood forecasts and response plans. So next is the finance or administration chief. Sila nag-manage sa financial aspect including sa mga tracking costs, contracts, and resources. Example ang hurricane response. So sila nag-handle sa claims, reimbursement, also sa budget. So lastly, the logistics section chief. So mo siya nag-ensure sa resources, equipment, and personnel are available and supported. So example during a large event, so sila nag-ensure sa mga supplies like sa mga pagkaon, sa tubig, o sa shelter are provided sa mga responder. Next is the tactical staff. They provide technical advice to the incident commander and they are ang tactical staff daw is nag-provide og specialized technical advice to the incident commander based on their expertise. For example, in hazardous materials spills. So, ang hazardous materials expert, which is the tactical staff, gina-advise niya ang incident commander on containment procedures and safety measures. Next is ang tactical staff is consists of the safety officer, the liaison, and the public information officer or the PIO. So first, the safety officer. So sila ang nag-ensure sa safety sa tanan personnel nga involved in the incident. Example lang na og if na construction collapse. So ang trabaho sa safety officer is naga-monitor sa risk like mga falling debris and sa safety sa worker. Sa next is liaison. Muna siyang acts that as the communication link between the incident commander and external agencies. So example na during large wildfire, so ang liaison coordinates efforts between sa local fire department and federal agencies. So next is the public information officer or the PIO. So sila naga-manage or naga-disseminate information sa public also sa media. So example na in chemical leak. So ang trabaho sa PIO, nag-provide sila update on evacuation orders and safety precaution sa community. So lastly mo na siya ang basic or our ICS basic organizational structure. So ang nasa baba ni is mo na siya ang incident commander, followed by public relation officer, kauban si liaison officer, then baba si safety officer, then nasa upat nasa baba which is katong operational section chief and staff na responsible for tactical operation. Then si planning section chief and staff sa mga naga-formulate strategy and action plans with the incident commander, followed by logistics section chief and staff sila nag-obtains resources and equipment and supports action plans. And lastly, si finance or administration chief and staff. So sila naga-document sa financial cost sa incident. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone. I'm Sean Carriedo and I will be the second reporter of our group. So, Public Information Officer or the spokesperson. The Public Information Officer or PIO or the spokesperson ensures that accurate information and consistent message is provided to the media in a crisis. There should only be one spokesperson. So, mainly the PIO or the spokesperson is the official who communicates information to the public and media on behalf of an organization. They handle press releases, interviews, and also public announcements. So let's move on to the responsibilities. The functions of the PIO. So the first one here is provide information openly and honestly with minimum delay. So all of these examples are very sabotable na dyan siya, no? So second one here is contribute to confidence, trust, respect, and esteem of the members of the CMC and of the ICS. And lastly, promote a greater understanding of the CMC and ICS and its contribution to the overall effort of restoring peace and order. So let's move on to the roles of the PIO. First is know the media. Second, engage the media. And lastly is tell the story, good or bad, accurately and timely. So the responsibilities of the PIO: ensure that all information provided to internal or external audience is accurate. So dapat accurate ang mga information na ma-provide, is either internal ba siya or external. Second is take appropriate action to correct erroneous information that appears in any medium. Third is avoid promotional self-serving releases and events staged solely for publicity purposes. And lastly, protect classified information in the interest of the safety of victims and family, that of national security, including the security of one's operation. So let's move on to the Public and Media Affairs Group or PMAG. Crises as well as events that are controversial in nature are often the focus of media attention. The media also provides coverage of good news, items, and in doing so helps to build the reputation of the CMC involved, the ICS, and the whole government. So the public or the PMAG or IPMAG or the Public and Media Affairs Group shall be organized and activated within the ICS. This is to unburden the incident commander from answering meticulous queries from the members of press so that his operational focus would not be affected. So basically, the PMAG are the ones who handles communication, media relations, and public outreach for an organization. They manage press releases, social media, and public events. So let's move on to the the two sections of PMAG. The first one here is public relations section. It addresses information that comes to and from the general public aside from the media. So the public information section or the PIS basically are the ones who handles the media relations, the press releases, and public announcements. And the public community affairs section also are the ones who manages the outreach programs and community engagement. So let's move on to the national government media platforms. Presidential Communications Development and Strategic Communications Group, they are responsible for the following. So the first one here ensures that all government spokesperson of the respective departments, agencies, instrumentalities, or bureaus involved in the emergency takes responsibility, ensures that the EXICOM, NSC, NCMC, and all other government officials or agents involved in the crisis, ensures the prudent handling of information, develops an appropriate crisis or emergency communications plan. And the on-scene commander. First one here is the on-scene commander is an individual in the vicinity of an incident who temporarily assumes command and institutes immediate emergency procedures such as the isolation of the incident from the environment. So first responders. The first responders performance covers that point in time when the level of incident shifts either to a higher level or towards elimination of crisis. So the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or the NDRRMC. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or the NDRRMC is a working group of various government or non-government. So the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council is the agency in the Philippines responsible for disaster preparedness, response, prevention, and recovery. It also coordinates efforts among government agencies like local governments and private sectors to reduce disaster risk and ensure quick response during emergencies.
I am Jonasar Condor, a group member of Group 2 CRIM 6. I am going to report the responsibilities of NDRRMC or the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. It starts with the overseeing the effective implementation of disaster risk reduction and management in the Philippines. Their responsibilities are outlined in the National Disaster and Risk Reduction Management Framework and National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Plan, ensuring that disaster preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, and rehabilitation operations are managed efficiently. So here are the key responsibilities. First is advisory role to the President. In the RRMC advises the President on the states of disaster preparedness, prevention, mitigation, response, and rehabilitation operation. Then second is multi-stakeholder participation. It ensures participation from various stakeholders in the development, updating, and sharing of the disaster risk reduction and management information system. Then third is capability building program. This program is target specific weakness identified through biennial baseline assessment and studies on local government units. Last is the risk transfer mechanism. This mechanism aims to improve resiliency and ensure recovery in the aftermath of disaster. Then here are the membership of NDRRMC. First is the Secretary of the Department of National Defense or DND as a chairperson. Then the Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government or DILG as a vice chairperson of for disaster preparedness. It focuses on disaster preparedness strategies. Then the Secretary of Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD as a Vice Chairperson for Disaster Response, responsible for overseeing disaster response operation. Next is the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology or DOST as a Vice Chairperson for Disaster Prevention and Mitigation. Uh, it leads efforts in disaster prevention and mitigation. Then last is the Director General of the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA as a Vice Chairperson for Disaster Rehabilitation and Recovery. It handles rehabilitation and recovery efforts after disaster.
Good day everyone, my name is Pat. So today I will be discussing to you and continuations with Mr. Juno. I will be discussing to you the National Council's members. So members of these councils are, we have the Secretary of Department of Health, Secretary of the DENR, Secretary of the Agriculture, and Secretary of DepEd, Secretary of DOE, Secretary of Finance, Secretary of Department Trade and Industry, Secretary of DOTC, Secretary of Department of Budget Management, the Secretary of Public Works and Highway, the DPWH, the Secretary of Department of Foreign Affairs, Secretary of DOJ, Secretary of Labor and Employment or DOLE, the Secretary of Department of Tourism, and the Executive Secretary, the Secretary Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process or the OPAP, Chairman Commission on Higher Educations or the CHED, the Chief of Staff Armed Forces of the Philippines, the AFP, the Chief Philippine National Police, the PNP, the Press Secretary, Secretary General of the Philippine National Red Cross, Commission on the National Anti-Poverty Commission's Victims, Commissions of the National Anti-Poverty Commissions, and we also have the Chairperson of National Commissions on the Role of Filipino Women, Chairperson Housing and Urban Development Coordination Council or the HUDCC, Executive Director of the Climate Change Office of the Climate Change Commission, we have the GSIS, the SSS, PhilHealth, the President of the Union of Local Authority in the Philippines, President of the League Provinces of the Philippines, the President of the League of Cities of the Philippines, the President of the League of the Municipal City of the Philippines, and President of the Liga ng mga Barangay, and then the 4 representative from CSOs, 1 representative from private sectors, and administrator of the OCD. Thank you so much. That's all for my report.
Good day everyone. So my part is the Office of Civil Defense. So Office of Civil Defense, they administer a comprehensive national civil defense and disaster risk reduction management program by providing leadership in continuous development of strategic and systematic approach, as well as measures to reduce the vulnerabilities and risk of hazards in the manage of consequence of disaster. So ang OCD or Office of Civil Defense, sila ang nagatabang kung saan magplano kung naay hazards or naay risk o sila ang magmanage sa consequence sa disaster. So responsibilities of Office of Civil Defense. or OCD. Office of Civil Defense advised the National Council on matters relating disasters risk reduction and management. So, ang National Council daw ang sa ilaha sila nagapangayo og advice kung naay risk reduction management. So, sa OCD, moduol ang National Council if need nila og kanang relating to disaster risk reduction. And they formulate and implement the NDRRMP and ensure the physical framework, social, economic, and environmental plans, communities, cities, municipalities, and province are consistent as plans. So, mo gyapon ng trabaho, NDRRMP, gina-ensure nila nga ang physical framework is tama, sunod sa SOP or Standard Operating Procedure ang matag syudad, municipality, or province nga naga-under sa ilaha. Dapat consistent ang mga plano so that pag-abot sa disaster, ready ang tanan. Next is Barangay Development Councils. The Barangay Development Council or BDCs, formerly known as Barangay Disaster Coordinating Councils by RA 10121 Section 11 of 2010, they serve as LDRRMCs in every barangay. So, BDCs or Barangay Disaster Coordinating Councils serves as mini LDRRMCs in every barangay. So, bali sila ang under sa LDRRMC, sila ang in charge sa isa ka barangay. It is under the punong barangays and shall facilitate and ensure participation of two CSO representative from existing and active community-based people's organization representing the most vulnerable and marginalized group in the barangay. So, magpili ay ang ilahang leader is ang barangay captain, syempre. Tapos, magpili sila og duha ka representative sa CSO from existing and active community-based people's organization representing the most vulnerable marginalized group in barangay. Meaning, katong mga pinakahawd nga pwede makuha sa barangay, pinaka-potential nga pwede mahimong CSO mo to ang kwaon para himuon og personnel. That's all. Thank you.
So good day everyone. So I am Colonel Johnny M. Flor. So I am the last reporter of this group. So my topic is Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office and the functions of the LDRRMO. Lastly, the coordination during emergencies. So the Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, or the LDRMO, is a comprehensive framework established under the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act of 10121 of 2010. So this emphasizes a proactive approach to disaster management, focusing on prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. So the LDRRM aims to enhance community resilience by reducing vulnerability to disasters and ensure effective response mechanism in place. So the LDRMO is under the authority of local government unit. So si LDRMO is under daw siya sa LGU. So in governance, the LDRMO is directly under the office of the local chief executive, such as the governor for the provinces, city or municipal mayor, and the punong barangay. So the functions of LDRMO, and according to the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management of 2010. So the LDRMO will facilitate and support risk assessments and contingency planning activities at the local level. Next is organize and conduct training, orientation, and knowledge management activities of disaster risk reduction and management at the local level. Next is to disseminate information and raise public awareness about those hazards, vulnerabilities, and risk, their nature, effects, early warning signs, and countermeasures. Lastly, to maintain a database of human resource, equipment, directories, and location of critical infrastructures and their capacities, such as hospitals and evacuation centers. And lastly, the coordination during emergencies. So the LDRMCs or local disaster risk reduction and management councils will take the lead in preparing, responding, recovering from the effects of any disaster based on the following criteria. First is if a barangay is affected, the BDC will take action. So the BDC or the Development Council will effectively address local issues, promote sustainable development, and enhance community resilience. So if two or more barangays are affected, then the city municipal DRMCs will take action. So this council play a critical role in fostering resilience within communities by integrating disaster risk reduction into local development processes. So if two or more cities municipalities are affected, then the provincial DRMC will take action. So the PDRMC enables to enhance provincial resilience against disaster to ensure that communities are well prepared for emergencies. So if two or more provinces are affected, then the RDRMC will take action. So it manage disaster risk and enhance resilience within regions. So the last one is the NDRMC. If two or more regions are affected, so the NDRMC will coordinate disaster response to ensure that communities receive timely assistance and support during emergencies. So that's all. Thank you.